All right, back at it again, and we are tearing stuff up. So, turbo head broken, severely broken. Ripped the A-arm, bent the shock, all while pulling it on the trailer. Ski grab, ripped the A-arm off. So what do? Call up our buddies over to Kmod, and this is what $1,700 gets you. A pair of Kmod 37 billet uppers. A set of, we're unboxing it right now in front of you guys, lowers, chrome moly lowers. With the bushings. They give you in the box. Comes with a set of short and tie rods. And we got ourselves a good set. Good set of Raptor shocks. Completely adjustable. So we've got those bad boys set. So I'm gonna get in here and start getting old Franken sled ripped apart so we can get those suspensions in there. Like I said, get that all ripped out. And then Franken sled took a beating. Took a rock. Bent the right control arm, bent the upper control arm. This is supposed to be leaning back, so we will be replacing the suspension on that guy as well. All right, guys, I'm gonna get you up. I'll start ripping this bad boy apart and take you along for the ride. Stick with us. Remember, like, subscribe, hit that bell notification so you can get them, get that notification when these videos get put up. All right, stick with us. All right, we're back at it. I'm gonna get some footage of installing this Kmod suspension. This is the factory side. Like I said, I'll get you guys some footage of the install here. Just want to show you the factory look in the front. You can see it's all right, and then the Kmod Raptor shocks installed in there. Kmod upper and lowers. Looks good. Looks good. Kmod. Give those guys a call if you're looking for upgraded suspensions. Those guys really have their stuff figured out. Billet. That's a really nice upper haul billet aluminum. Two-pieced out. All right, guys. Let me get you on the stand here, and I'll get you some footage and some how-to. We're not a how-to type of shop, but I went through this one, and I'm gonna go ahead and give you an instructional on this side over here so you guys can have an idea. Like I said, this is the way I do it. Not saying it's right, not saying this way it's supposed to be done. This is just the way that I did it. Just keep that in mind. Do it. If you get this kit, it's pretty straightforward. You guys should it's kind of really easy. It's not that bad of a deal to do. Takes about an hour side if you're taking your time getting everything done. You will need quite a few tools here. You will need a Torx 25. You'll need a 3/16 drill bit. You need a 15, a 17, 11, and a couple of those sockets, a 13mm socket and impact. That's the easiest way to do it. And you should be able to get her in and out of there. Like I say, we're going to go through. I'm going to get you guys on the stand, get you down here with me, and we'll go through on how we pulled it apart and installed the upper and lower control arm and the shock. And then we'll, like I say, you guys can get a little tutorial here out of me. All right, guys, hold on. Let me get you on the stand, and then we'll get back at it. We'll get ripping this thing apart. All right, guys, first things first, get it up, get it on a jack. You put a jack stand if you're going to be underneath of it. Kind of wise to do that. I'm not going to be underneath of it, so everything I need to do is right here. Pretty much. It's like 12 bolts, 15 bolts, and we're done. So let me get started by, we've already pulled the side panel off the sled. I'm going to pull this little Christmas tree keeper out of the way, and then we're going to drill this rivet and this rivet out. Thing there so you can see it. So that rivet, and there's one more right there. We're going to drill those out so we can pull this plastic back, because Polaris put this bolt in so it hits. So they do have a rubber plug there on this side, but I'm just going to pull it out because I want it to match the other side when I put the rivets back in. And both of the rivets on the other side were loose, so I'm just going to drill those out. All right, guys, let's get the drilling, let's get to doing that, and then we'll get back at it, and I'll give you the next little step here. Now, as you can see, I can move that back and I can get to that bolt. So let's pull that bolt off and remove the shock out of the way. We've got the upper and lower bolt. So what I did here was I took the lower bushings and zip tied them to the top, because I am going to have these shocks rebuilt. The other one is bent, so I'm going to have a new barrel put into it, but I want to be able to use these on Frankensled. I'm going to put this set of shocks on that 08. So what I'm doing, like I say, is I want to keep all that hardware. I don't want to lose those bushings and all, because then my bolts will be wrong. So, and it takes a larger bolt on the top of the shock and a smaller bolt on the bottom, so I've got to have those smaller bushings to get that smaller shock in there, and that way I've got all of my pivots and my width is all right. So good thing to do, just throw a zip tie on that and then you can't lose them. That way when you ship them over to get them rebuilt, they'll come back and they'll have all the parts and pieces with them. All right, now we're going to remove all 4 of those bolts, and this upper control arm will come right out of the way. And like I say, I've already got it removed out of here. 15 on the bottom, 8mm Allen on the top. I'm going to take those 4 bolts out of there, and then we'll set that guy to the side. Now, these guys right here, we have to remove these guys because you have to reuse these on the other arm. Now these are bushings, so I want to keep those together. And like I say, we're going to remove these guys. 1, 2, and it's on the floor. And then this here can go in the box. Save these guys. We need to clean these and reuse them. Now that the upper is out of the way, we're going to move on to the lower. The lower is 1 bolt in here and 3 bolts. There's 1 on this side, and then there's 2 back here behind the boot. You're going to remove this boot afterwards, and you got to remove this tie rod here because we have shorter ones to put on. So we'll do that in a second. But first we'll get those bolts out of there, those 3, and take this guy here off, and then this ski and this tie rod separate will be just loose, and we can pull that lower control arm out of there. Save this bolt, you're going to reuse it as well. So now that's separated. Once again, remove these. Remember that the one that has a little kink in it goes to the front. So remove those guys because we got to clean them up and then install grease on them before we put them back together. The inside guy. And I just keep those together. And then there's your lower control arms up. Now we can take the Torx and remove our boot. This boot here's got to come off, and it's got some Torx into it. It's 5 total Torx in there. We'll get those removed and get this tie rod up. Alright, now you just gotta loosen up the jam nut there, and there's one up here. Loosen those up, take this rod out. Okay, that's off. Pull that out, save this. We're gonna reuse that. This here goes over there, and it is marked. So this side you can see is definitely a little different than that side. So this side is the left-handed threads, which is on the top. The new one is also scribed with a little bit of a mark right there. That goes up to the top side. Put your boot on, slide it on, and then I just put these two together and make sure they're straight, And I try to just screw them on together at the same time. That pretty much gives you the same thread count. You've got to align it so it doesn't really matter. If you get it one thread off, it's not going to hurt it. But I try to get it as close as I can, and then just basically start them on there.
A few moments later.
Well, gotta say it, they messed up. That's supposed to be a left-handed thread. That is definitely right hand. Kmod, $1,700, and they didn't get the fucking tie rod right. Are you serious? $1,700, this shit should almost put itself on. I can't believe it. But for sure, that tie rod right there is the wrong freaking thread. I can physically screw it on this lower unit here. It's just disappointing. Pay that much money for something, and it's got the little notch on it that's supposed to be left-handed threads. Threads right on there. That's right-handed. That's supposed to be left-handed threads. And then I can flip it right over, and these tie rods are supposed to be different. Screw this side right on there. You gotta be fucking kidding me. You pay that kind of money and you don't get the right shit. That's what happens. You know, this is what we go through, you guys. I mean, this is the I mean, literally, this is enough just to irritate the living snot out of you. That little stupid thing right there is supposed to be left-handed threads to go on that side, so that way you can adjust the A-arm or adjust the toe on your skis. And the damn thing is threaded wrong. One little screw up could ruin the whole weekend. Hopefully they got another one of these they can get out to me, and I'll be damned if I'm gonna pay for it. That's $1,700. Kmod, come on. Where's your quality control? First time and probably the last time I'll buy anything from these guys, because that right there is unacceptable to me. That there is completely unacceptable. I mean, you know, when you're paying that kind of money for something that you ride, you know what I mean, 3 months out of the year. Not good. I mean, I don't reach out to a lot of people, but I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people looking at this video. And like I say, this is the stuff that you can expect. Happened to me, can happen to you. And like I say, you order $1,700 worth of front end parts. They damn well should be correct, and they shouldn't have this issue. So, all right guys, well, I'm gonna have to end the video there, because I can't put this back together without this. I mean, I can get the upper and lower control arm on, but I'm not gonna finish it without this. So we'll get the video of the upper and lower control arm going on, and I'll finish that up. But Kmod, not good, not good. This is live, you know what I mean? This is what you guys get to see. You guys are going to see this. You guys are going to see this screw up on their end, and you know, that's what you can expect. You know, these guys are local to me, so it's not too bad if they're there. They're hard to get a hold of, but yeah, that there is two right-handed threads. It's supposed to be a left-handed thread and a right-handed thread, so you can pitch them in and out. Does not make it yeah, this could have been one of you guys overseas, Germany, a week out, 2 weeks out, and you order this suspension and you end up with that. You know, there's nothing you can do. I mean, yeah, you can get another one made or get one sent to you, but if you're putting it together on Thursday to go riding on the weekend, you're a week out. All right guys, let me get you back down here and we'll get the upper and lower control arms on, and then see what else is messed up. Like I say, stick with us here. Get some rags, clean these up, and re-grease them. I'll be right back. Don't worry, I'm going to come back and torque those guys at factory. This thing here only puts out like 45 foot-pounds, so I'm going to torque them with the torque wrench. Just getting it on here so we can get it back together and get the ski on there, and then I'll have to go get that tie rod tomorrow. So, all right, let's get the lower control arm. Like I say, we got to clean those pins up and get that guy on there, and we'll be ready to rock and roll. Clean these up. I'll be right back. Let me get some cleaner on these and grease them, and then I'll return with the lower. Just using some light grease, lubing those pins. That way they get a little lubrication so they don't make noise. Slide her in here. Alright, we'll get this lower control arm in. We gotta grab the hardware. Comes with a couple insert bushings that have to go inside of there. And then one on the bottom. And then we can then mate this really heavy setup here on here. And the other side, it's pretty snug, so I give her a little bump with a dead blow. Line up the hole. Use the original bolt and nut. Boom, that falls on there, and then snug her down. And then the upper control arm. Now, you can do it two ways. You can install your Raptor shocks now, which is an option, which is probably a good idea, and then install your upper control arm. That way you can get it to the right angle and stuff. So we'll go ahead and throw those shocks in real quick, and then we'll install that upper control arm. So these guys come in multiple O-rings and stuff, so you got to make sure you get the right sizes. There are two different sizes, one for the lower and one for the upper. You can see the whole size is different. Make sure you match those guys up. And you've got two O-rings that go on here like such. Basically work as a dust preventer and keep stuff out of them. Larger holes go on the top, smaller ones go on the bottom. So I line these up, get these in here, feed the shock through here, and get it up in there. And you grab your shock bolt that you saved from the other one, and put that bad boy in there and put your nut on. This is the one that's a pain because you got to pull the plastic out, so it's kind of get it in there, get it lined up, pull this out, put that in, move all the wiring. So it's kind of a little bit of a fight, but it can be done. Boom. Put my nut that up. A bushings in the bottom, and then you got to use your factory lower shock bolt and a nut that they provide in the kit for your lower control arm. So put these guys in. And again, these guys here that goes in these A-arms are a little tight, so sometimes you gotta use a little love and use a little tappy. Sometimes you can go in from the back like this, bring it up, and that works pretty good. And get the hole lined up, put your bolt in, okay? And then, like I say, they do provide you with a locking nut in the kit. Put that guy on there. And then grab your end pack, or 13. Snug that guy down. Pair of 15s on the top. Uh-oh, Mikey messed up. I forgot to pull this down. Crap. Gotta take it back apart. Don't pull the Mikey. Make sure you pull your upper A-arm down before you put your shock bolt in, or you will have a time getting it down. It'll be stuck above the reservoir. No big deal. Now, tighten your stop one up. Now, because I am not running a sway bar anymore, you want to add a 1/4 inch, starting with a 1/4 inch preload on your springs. So Raptor Shocks uses an Allen to lock them down. I'll loosen that up and I'll put a 1/4 inch in now while there's no load onto it, and then we'll retest it. We'll probably have to readjust it to get the ride height just right, but I start out, I'll just do it right now, 1/4 inch more on the shock, and we'll be good to go. And then we can get our A-arm on there. Now, they did provide an Allen bolt for that, so we'll throw that guy on, and then we'll get our shock adjusted for the extra preload, because we are not running any sway bars in the front. We're gonna kind of do away with the sway bar in the front and run no sway bar, so it can be a little easier to tip on its side. Some people like it. I like a little sled that's a little less. I like to be able to tip it on the side easier with less effort than tipping it on its side with more effort. Okay. Now on this guy here, it binds up right here on that guy right here. So before you tighten this up, you want to adjust that so that way there's no load on your spring, because when you drop it down on the jack, you're going to put pressure on the spring, which is going to put pressure on your nut, which is going to make it harder to turn. So we'll go ahead and adjust that guy now. Take a marker and mark the shock where the upper piece is. Just mark a thread, and then that'll give me a point to know where it's at when I turn it down. Usually about 3 full turns. That's what it was on the other one, was a 1/4 inch. And we'll measure it. Quarter inch. So yeah, 3 turns is where your 1/4 inch is. And then just put a little pressure back onto it again. That way it stays locked and the spring don't back off. Okay, and then I double check. Make sure the whole shock moves. We'll be good. Okay, the preset is set. So now I gotta let this down. So I'll take the jack and let the jack down to put pressure on the ski. And then that kind of takes this binding point away on this guy here, and that'll now, we can tighten that guy up, and we'll be done with the install until I get my new tie rod. $8mm Allen, 17 on the bottom. And then I will add a couple of chugga-chuggas in there with the ratchet. Make sure it's nice and tight. And that, my friends, is how you install a Kmod suspension. Too bad the tie rod is messed up, or we would have a full install, and then I could show you how to set the toe on it, so that way when your handlebars are straight. The skis are a little bit straight. They say about an 1/8 inch toed out is where you should be at on these guys. So, all right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. I will get back to you on that tie rod. We're just I'm just really disappointed in that. So, all right, guys, I know it's been a long-winded video. It's probably going to end up making 2 videos out of it. But like I said, if I haven't already said, like, subscribe. We'll bring you some more snowmobile action. If you guys like this kind of tutorial stuff, let me know. I mean, like I say, I don't mind doing them. It's not really something that I have done. So if you guys like it, let me know. We'll show you alignment video on it as well. And like I say, if you guys are liking this, I'll do a lot more of it. All right, remember, like, subscribe, hit that bell, and we'll see you on the trail.
Like two spirits say.